Now, stress is a normal and natural part of human life. In fact, they say that a positive mental attitude is simply a positive reaction or response to stress. You can't avoid stress. There's stress in driving through traffic. There's stress in getting going when you're behind schedule. There's stress when you're working on a big project or even a small project. But what you can do is learn how to manage it so you can move forward and lead a productive, happy life. So how do you manage stress? Well, there are a few ways that I manage the stress in my life, and I know these ways will work for you as well because I've taught them to more than 1 million people. First, plan your day in advance. Plan every aspect of your day and plan your activities in advance as well, especially if you're going through a difficult time in your life. Having a plan for your day will make you feel more in control. You won't have to think about or make a decision about what to do next. Becoming an expert in time management will reduce your stress levels enormously. Breaking down every task and activity in your day or week will make the big picture a lot less intimidating. Second, when you're experiencing a lot of stress, only work on the tasks that are the most important to improving your life. You can use tools that we've discussed in the past, like the 80-20 rule, to make setting and choosing your goals easier. Setting clear priorities for your work each day before you begin will relieve much of your stress immediately. Then discipline yourself to start on your most important task and to work on it until it's complete. Third, get more rest. It's amazing how many people suffer greater stress from the same event because they are just too tired. Fatigue causes you to experience stress at a much higher level for much longer periods of time. A body well taken care of will serve you much better in the long run and will reduce your stress naturally. If you're planning your day properly, then planning for more sleep shouldn't be a problem. Fourth, talk out your situation with someone else. Find someone who you like and trust and respect and talk to them about the situation you're experiencing. Ask them for their advice. Sometimes just talking about the issue out loud will help reduce the anxiety and stress you're feeling. Fifth, look for the lesson in any difficulty or problem that you're dealing with. One of the things that I do to eliminate the stress from my whole life is ask myself, what can I learn from this experience? What is this experience trying to teach me? I ask myself if I should be doing more of something or less of something in the future to avoid this sort of stress. If you look into any situation and look for the lesson in your most difficult experiences, you'll always find a lesson. Before we wrap up, I'd like to leave you with a thought to share with your friends and followers. Here it is. Within every setback or obstacle, there is the seed of an equal or greater advantage or benefit. Your job is to find it. Everyone has goals, but some seem to accomplish far more than others. That's because people who accomplish goals at a higher rate than the average person are those who use a systematic, proven method of goal setting and goal attainment. The answer is simple. You need an effective action plan. The first step in creating an action plan is deciding exactly what you want. Clarity is the most important single quality of goal setting and perhaps the most important single quality of success. Instead of fuzzy goals like more money, better health, and happiness, be specific about exactly how much money you want to earn in a specific period of time, or what level of health and fitness or weight that you desire. You need to set goals that are multidimensional and for every part of your life so that you function like a well-oiled goal-setting, goal-achieving machine. You need goals for your health, your career, your finances, your relationships, your personal and professional development, and your community and spiritual growth. This will immediately put you in a separate category from people because most people have no idea what they really want. Most people are unconsciously preoccupied with the fear of failure, which blocks them from setting clear, specific goals. If you don't set clear, specific goals, then you can't fail to achieve them because they're so vague. This is a major reason for failure. Next, write your goals or goal down on a sheet of paper. Only 3% of adults have written goals, and everyone else plans to write them down someday. Success begins with a piece of paper, a pen, and a few minutes of your time. You can start with the 3-goal method. In less than 30 seconds, quickly write down your 3 most important goals in life right now. Whatever 3 goals you manage to write down is probably an accurate picture of what you really want in life. When you actually write a goal down, it is as if you are programming it into your subconscious mind and activating a whole series of mental powers that will enable you to accomplish much more than you ever dreamed of. You begin to expect to achieve the goal, and you start to attract people and circumstances into your life that are consistent with the attainment of your goal. The third step is setting a deadline. If it's a large goal, set a series of sub-deadlines. And what if you don't achieve your goal by the deadline? Set another deadline. Remember, a deadline is just a guesstimate of when you will achieve it. You may achieve the goal well in advance, or it may take you much longer than you expect. But you must have a target time before you set off. A deadline acts as a forcing system on your subconscious mind toward achieving your goal on schedule. If you want to achieve financial independence, you may set a 10 or 20-year goal and then break it down year by year so that you know how much you have to save and invest each year. There are no unreasonable goals, only unreasonable deadlines. The next step in creating an action plan is making a list of everything that you could possibly think of that you will have to do to achieve your goal. After having a written goal, one of the things that holds people back is not taking the time to lay out a list of all the little things they will have to do to get there. Identify the obstacles that you will have to overcome. Identify the knowledge, information, and skills you will need, and then identify the people whose help and cooperation you will require to achieve your goal. The more comprehensive your list, the more motivated you will become. The more intense will be your desire, and the more you will believe it is possible. Combine all these things into a plan organized by priority and sequence. Priority is what is more important and less important. Sequence is what you have to do before you do something else, and in what order. List every single step that you can think of that you will have to follow. As you think of new items, add them to your list. The 80-20 rule says that 80% of your results will come from 20% of your activities. The 20-80 rule says that the first 20% of time that you spend planning your goal and organize your plan will be worth 80% of the time and effort required to achieve the goal. Now that you have this comprehensive list, schedule it into a comprehensive plan. Plan each day, week, and month in advance. Plan each month at the beginning of the month. Plan each week the weekend before. And plan each day the evening before. The more careful and detailed you are when you plan your activities and tasks, the more you will accomplish in less time. The rule is that each minute spent on planning saves 10 minutes on execution. Then, as you go through each day of your plan, select your number one most important goal for the day. Again, you can set your priorities with the 80-20 rule. Ask yourself, if I could only do one thing on this list, which one activity is most important? Then ask yourself, if I could only do one other task on this list, which one would be the most valuable use of my time? Then write a number 2 next to it. Now keep asking this question until you have the top 20% of your tasks organized by sequence and priority. And now you have an action plan. Your next step is to take action. Keep track of your progress and make adjustments along the way. Make sure you're doing something every day to move you in the direction of what you really want in life. When you practice limited thinking, you paralyze yourself at the start line. You become so obsessed and distracted by making excuses and convincing yourself that you can't do something that you don't even give yourself the opportunity to try. This way of thinking is one of the biggest preventers of achieving your goals, and that's why I want to show you a few strategies that you can use to overcome your self-limiting beliefs. The first step in overcoming limiting beliefs is to identify your limiting step. One of the most valuable exercises you can engage in to accomplish any goal you can set for yourself is to ask yourself, what is my limiting step? What is the one factor that determines the speed at which I achieve my goal, or whether I achieve it at all? Once you've answered this question, you can move on to making a plan for how to accomplish your goals by eliminating this limiting factor. Your ability to identify your limiting step is one of the best demonstrations of your intelligence, and your capacity to eliminate this limiting step is one of the best demonstrations of your overall competence in achieving anything you want. The second step to overcoming limiting beliefs is to develop an unshakable self-confidence. To develop high levels of self-confidence, you must first understand the law of concentration. This law states that anything you dwell upon grows in your reality, or as they say, what you think about, you bring about. In other words, anything that you think about long enough and hard enough eventually becomes part of your mental processes, exerting its influence and power on your attitude and your behavior. If you constantly think of boldness and courage and self-assertion, you become progressively bolder and more courageous and more self-assertive. If you want self-confidence on the outside, you must practice complete integrity and self-confidence on the inside. One of my favorite quotes is, "You are not what you think you are, but what you think you are." Self-confidence allows you to move out of your comfort zone and take risks without any guarantees. When you develop in yourself this unshakable quality of self-confidence, everything else will be possible for you. The next strategy for overcoming limiting beliefs is to develop a clear plan of action that will allow you to move past obstacles and stay focused on moving towards your goals. The key to making a plan of action and setting goals is to not set goals that are enormous, at least at the beginning. Big goals do not motivate you, they actually destroy your motivation. So when setting goals, it's very important to make sure that they are definite and realistic and achievable and measurable. You also want to make sure that you have one major goal that you're constantly working towards. I want you to try this exercise that I've taught to millions of students all over the world. Take a piece of paper and write down 10 goals that you want to accomplish within 12 months. Then, look over this list and ask yourself, if I could wave a magic wand and accomplish just one of these goals in 24 hours, which one goal would have the greatest positive impact on my life? That one goal will become your definite purpose or your major goal. Then create a deadline for your major goal and make a list of all the things you need to do to achieve it. Finally, commit to working on that goal every single day by doing something from that list that will help you to get there faster. When you identify what it is that's holding you back, develop an unshakable self-confidence that you can do anything you want, and make a plan for exactly how to do it, you will be completely free of limited thinking, and you will be on your way to becoming unstoppable towards your personal, professional, and financial goals. Now, before we wrap up, I'd like to leave you with a thought to share with your friends and followers. There are no limits on what you can achieve with your life except for the limits you accept in your own mind. Perhaps the most important quality that you can develop for success and happiness in life is the quality of courage. Winston Churchill once said, "Courage is rightly considered the foremost of the virtues, for upon it all others depend." There are several forms of courage that you can develop with practice. These different forms of courage will help you to achieve the great success that is possible for you, and they're all learnable with practice. In other words, you can actually become an absolutely unafraid person by practicing courage whenever the situation requires it. The first form of courage is the courage to dream big dreams and to set big goals. This is where most people are stopped. The very idea of setting big, challenging, exciting, worthwhile goals, sometimes they call them BHOGs, big, hairy, audacious goals. The very challenge of doing that is so overwhelming that most people quit before they even begin. They think, oh, I could never do that. And they think of all the reasons why they might fail and all the money they might lose, and they literally shut themselves down even before they get started. But this is not for you. Sit down and write out your goals as if anything were possible for you. Sit down and write out your goals as if anything were possible for you, and never be afraid to dream big dreams. The second type of courage you can develop is the courage to make a total commitment, throwing yourself wholeheartedly into whatever it is you decide to do. All successful people, of my experience, are people who are living fully engaged. They are fully involved in their lives and in their goals. They don't do things by half measures. They may have no guarantees, but they're not afraid to put their whole hearts into their activities. If they fail by trying greatly, not by playing it safe and wishing and hoping that everything will work out all right in the future. What they do is they take great risks with no guarantee of success, and so can you. The third type of courage you need is the courage to move out of your comfort zone. It's the courage to move into your zone of discomfort, where you feel awkward and clumsy and sometimes alone. The comfort zone is one of the greatest enemies of human potential and of your potential. When people get into a comfort zone, they strive to stay in that comfort zone, even if they're not happy with their situation. Often their whole lives pass them by while they're furnishing and reinforcing their little rut of medium performance. You need the courage to continually move yourself in the direction of your biggest goals and ambitions. You need to be willing to face discomfort in order for you to grow. You need the courage to launch in faith with no guarantees of success. Someone once wrote, if every obstacle must first be overcome, nothing will ever get done. Courageous people are those who have a dream and set a goal, they make a plan, and they take the first step with no assurances and no guarantees that their efforts will result in success. However, if you look upon every step forward as a learning experience and every setback as a valuable lesson that has been sent to you to make you stronger and better, you will not be afraid to launch in faith into the unknown. You need the courage to risk failure. You need the courage to endure constant setbacks and disappointments and temporary defeats. You need to learn to deal with failure by realizing that failure is an indispensable prerequisite for success. You can't succeed without failing, and failing lots of times. Remember that wonderful quote from Thomas J. Watson Sr., the founder of IBM? He said, if you want to be successful faster, you must double your rate of failure. He said, success lies on the far side of failure. You need the courage to treat failure as an opportunity to more intelligently begin again. You need to overcome the fear of failure by doing the things you fear over and over until the fear is gone. And then by resolving to bounce rather than break when things don't work out for you. You need the courage to turn toward danger continuously, to face the things you fear. Now, identify all the fear situations in your life that cause you stress or anxiety today. Decide what the worst possible outcome of each of these situations might be. Resolve to accept the worst should it occur. And then take action to resolve each of these situations. Refuse to allow a fear situation to remain in your life, dominating your thinking and emotions and holding you back. You need the courage to be willing to make mistakes and learn from them. All peak performers continually make decisions, make mistakes, learn from them, pick themselves up, self-correct, and carry on. Successful people are not those who necessarily make the right decisions all the time, but by hanging in there, they make their decisions right. If they make a mistake, they accept it. They learn as much as possible from it, failing and making mistakes, and carry on. The more you fail and the more mistakes you make, the smarter you become, and the more likely it is that you will eventually achieve your goals. You also need the courage to accept complete responsibility for your life, which means to take ownership for results. You need the courage to refuse to make excuses or to defend yourself. You need the courage to say over and over again, I am responsible. I am responsible, and refuse to blame anybody else. When something goes wrong, you focus on the solution rather than the problem or the person. You ask, what do we do from here? What's the next step? What's the solution? What action should we take? You then pick yourself up and carry on, extracting the wheat, the lessons from the situation, and throwing away the chaff, the things that happen that you cannot change. The final courage you need is the courage to persist longer than anyone else. Persistence is the quality that will ultimately guarantee your success. Your willingness to persist in the face of every adversity can be your greatest asset. The ability to persist is the number one quality for success in every field in life. It can be the one factor that guarantees your success in the end. If you refuse to quit, you must ultimately succeed. Just as in baseball, you won't ultimately hit a home run unless you keep on swinging. In 30 years of studying successful people, I've discovered one fact over and over. No one was ever defeated until they accepted defeat as a reality. No one can ever defeat you but yourself. How would you like to become popular and more welcome with people in your social or business circles? Well, you can be by learning how to be more charming in every interaction with others. Do you know how to become more popular in your personal and professional life? Well, the deepest human desire is the desire to feel important. When you go through life building self-confidence and making other people feel important and valuable, they will like you and welcome you, and they'll open every door for you. And this is how to become popular both professionally and personally. If you're in business, becoming a charming person, making others feel important, will help you in every business situation, from negotiating terms to borrowing money to influencing key customers. If you're in sales, the way customers feel about you and feel when they are with you will determine your level of sales and referrals more than any other factor. In your personal and family and social life, learning to be more charming will make you more popular, desirable, influential, and persuasive than any other quality. As the poet said, people will forget everything you said, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. How do you become a genuinely charming person? In my book, The Power of Charm, there are 35 chapters dedicated to answering this question. But here are 5 behaviors you can practice with every person to make him or her feel more important. First, just smile. An open, honest, happy to see you smile warms people's hearts, makes them feel important, and causes them unconsciously to like you from the first moment. Each person has a deep down need to be accepted unconditionally by other people, without judgment or criticism, and a smile tells them that you accept them and like them unconditionally. Second, promote high self-esteem in others with appreciation. Everyone loves to be appreciated for something, anything that they have done for someone else. So when you say the magic words, thank you, early and often, you make people feel important and happy. You raise their self-esteem and increase their desire to help you and to do things for you. Third is to give genuine compliments whenever you admire the possessions or traits or accomplishments of others. As Abraham Lincoln said, everybody likes a compliment. Admire people's choices in clothing and hairstyles and cars and briefcases or purses or even their office layout. Admire their homes or apartments. Admire their degrees or certificates. Whenever you compliment a person genuinely on something he or she has obviously invested time and emotion in achieving, you boost their self-image and build high self-esteem. As a result, they find you to be charming. Fourth, build self-confidence through approval of others. Give praise and approval generously for both small and large accomplishments. Whenever anyone does anything worthwhile, tell them how good they are and what a fine job they've done, building self-confidence and high self-esteem. When you praise your spouse and children, when you praise your staff and co-workers, your customers and suppliers, you make them feel more important and cause them to see you as charming. And fifth, give them your full attention. People feel valuable and important to the degree to which they are listened to and respected. Whenever you listen closely to another person when he is talking, his self-esteem goes up. His brain releases endorphins, which is nature's happy drug, and he feels good about being in your presence. You see, you always pay value to a person by listening attentively, by hanging on every word. When you do, he or she warms up to you and begins to find you to be charming. Go through life looking for little opportunities to make people feel valuable and special. Smile at them as if you're glad to see them. Thank them regularly. Compliment them sincerely. Praise them lavishly. And listen to them when they speak, building self-confidence and promoting high self-esteem. Soon, almost without effort on your part, everyone will be talking about what a charming person you are.